Are you going through menopause, perimenopause, or even postmenopause? And is the struggle real with maintaining your hair? Well, stick around. I'm going to give you some tips on how you can manage your menopausal hair. Hey guys, Karen with Curl House. I'm a licensed cosmetologist, a certified trichologist, and the owner of the Curl House product line and academy. And today we are going to talk about what is going on with your hair as you're going through menopause. But before I talk about that, let me just tell you about the basic significant hormonal changes in your life that affect your hair. The first one is at birth, or actually when you're a toddler. When you're born, typically babies have like baby hair. Their texture may be one way as an infant, but when they become a toddler, you'll notice that the hair texture changes. And this happens at around 18 months to 2 years. The texture may change, so the hair may get curlier, or the hair may get coarser, it may get straighter, or the hair could change colors. I remember my nephew was born with carrot top red hair, but when he was about 2, his red hair turned more brown. So that's the first significant hormonal change you undergo. The second one is around puberty. So at puberty, that's another significant hormonal change that's happening in your body. And typically your hair texture may change again. Your body may produce more sebum. The scalp may produce more sebum, or the skin, you may notice more acne on your face at puberty. That's the second one. But the third one, the third significant hormonal change happens during menopause. This is a major one because during menopause, there is a significant decline in estrogen, as you may know. And what do you think happens when there is significant declines in estrogen levels? You may experience excessive hair fall, thinning hair, dry, brittle hair. So typically there's a peak in estrogen between mid-20s to late 20s. But by the time you turn 50, most women may lose at least 50% of estrogen, and it continues to decrease all throughout menopause. And again, this reduction in estrogen is primarily responsible for your hair changes. So estrogen reduction affects your growth cycle. So your hair grows in cycles. The anagen cycle is the growth cycle. So 85 to 95% of the time your hair is growing. But when your estrogen declines, then your hair starts to rest more. And when it rests more, it falls out. Therefore, it thins more. Reduced estrogen also causes the hair follicle to shrink. It also causes the shape of the hair follicle to change. And when there's a change in the size and the structure of the hair follicle, then that causes a change in the texture of your hair. So that is why your hair texture seems completely different. Textures can vary from person to person. Many times when your hair follicle changes, if you were someone with fine hair before menopause, you may have coarser hair during and after menopause. Or if you had straighter hair before menopause, your hair could become curlier. Also, your sebaceous glands stop producing as much sebum. And sebum is what your hair and scalp needs to be lubricated to maintain moisture. So this is why your hair seems dry, it's more brittle, it's more susceptible to breakage. It seems like regardless of how many times you get a trim, you still have split ends. Estrogen, or the reduction of estrogen, is responsible for all of these things. In addition to that, during menopause, your collagen starts to decrease, which is why your skin gets looser. Your scalp skin gets looser too, which is why you may be experiencing tender scalp and you can't figure out why. Or sometimes in terms of that sebum, the sebum production may even increase during menopause. And if this happens, you may experience acne on the scalp. All of these things we have to go through during menopause. And that doesn't even bring into fact all of the other changes your body goes through menopause. So today, I'm going to give you some tips on what you can do to maintain the health of your hair if you're going through menopause. And the first thing that you may have to do to maintain your new menopausal hair is to get to know your new texture. So you have to get to know this new texture that's on your head. And I know it is so different from what you are used to. But remember, I want you to think back to the time when you actually transitioned from your relaxed hair to your natural hair. That was a new texture too. And guess what? You got to know that new natural texture. It's the same thing. You have to get to know this new menopausal textured hair. So what I typically hear from most women who are going through menopause is that their hair is super dry and wiry, or their texture, their curl pattern has completely changed and they don't know what to do with it. So these are the two areas that you really have to focus on. In terms of dealing and tackling the dryness of your new texture, you're going to have to first learn your moisture cycle, which just means you have to know how often you need to apply moisturizer or a water-based product or a water-based cream, a moisturizer or a moisturizing spray to your hair. And more than likely, you're going to have to keep your hair moisturized and hydrated more frequently than you did before your menopause because your hair is just drier. Now, I have created several videos on how to properly moisturize your hair. I am going to show some of these videos at the end of this video so that you'll get a better understanding of how to moisturize your hair. Now, something else that I learned when you're going through menopause, your hair may be turning gray too. So gray hair has very similar characteristics of menopausal hair. So I created an awesome video on mastering your gray hair care. I'm going to put it up above so that you can check it out. But moisture is key to maintaining menopausal hair. Knowing your moisture cycle, again, that may require that you put some type of moisturizing product to your hair every day, or it may require that you also seal in that moisture, which means taking a water-based product and applying oil on top of it. Let me just show you what it looks like. This is water, which represents your moisturizer or your water-based product, and then it's an oil on top of it. And what that oil is doing is just locking in your moisturizer. So ultimately, it's keeping your hair moisturized longer. And the second thing in terms of getting to know your texture, your new texture may cause your curl pattern to be different. So as I said earlier, reduced amounts of estrogen actually change the shape of your hair follicle. And when the shape of your hair follicle is changed, it also changes the shape of your curl pattern. So your curl pattern may be looser or it may be tighter. So what you're used to doing to your hair, for example, you may have had very curly hair and a wash and go was your signature style. But now your curls may have dropped. It's a little more wiry. It's not as curly. So if that is the case, you may have to try another style, such as a 2-strand twist out to give you a manipulated curl as opposed to a wash and go, or vice versa. So you're going to have to experiment with hairstyles a little bit more to really get to know this new curl pattern. And the second thing that you need to do is to be kind and gentle to your hair. So in other words, you have to treat this new menopausal hair like baby hair, like literally like baby hair. So you don't want to use permanent hair colors on your hair. You may want to stop using harsh chemicals in certain hair products, like certain sulfates in shampoos that may be drying to your hair. Or even with conditioners, you may want to increase the amount of time that you actually do deep conditioners to really keep that hair hydrated. That's going to be key dealing with your new menopausal hair because your hair is so dry. So deep conditioner should be a staple in your hair care routine. You also want to be gentle with the hairstyle. So no more tight extension hairstyles. And also be gentle with your combing, with your detangling. It's going to require that you really take your time on wash day to gently detangle your hair. So you really have to treat your hair, again, just like baby hair, with TLC, because menopausal hair is very fragile and highly susceptible to breakage. So let's discuss the elephant in the room when it comes to menopause: hair loss. Hair loss is inevitable to some when they're going through menopause, because again, estrogen is what causes your hair to grow. It keeps your hair in this growing cycle. And when there's a significant decline in estrogen, it really does cause your hair to shed a lot. And again, that hair follicle gets smaller, shrinking your hair strands, causing thinning. So hair loss may be inevitable. It may not be permanent. Now, just like anything else with menopause, when you go through menopause, you have certain symptoms. Some things actually go away post-menopause. Other things are here to stay. So whether or not your hair loss is permanent, it varies from person to person. But I'm going to give you a few tips, a few things that you can do to mitigate the hair loss if you are dealing with it during menopause. The very first and the main suggestion for hair loss: you have to consider your diet. It is imperative that your diet is nutrient rich or nutrient dense. This is so critical during the menopausal years, because nutrients is what feeds your vital organs. So nutrients meaning the food that you eat. The food that you eat goes to feed and support your vital organs first. And what's left over goes to support the hair follicle. But during menopause, your body is going through all of these hormonal changes. So having a proper diet, proper nutrients is going to be critical, because again, those nutrients first feed the vital organs first. The body doesn't recognize the hair to be vital, or in other words, you don't need hair to function, and the body knows that. So that's why it is so important that you consider what you eat. Now, there are things that you can eat specifically that's going to help mimic estrogen in your body, and those things are called phytoestrogen foods. So these foods attach to the estrogen receptors in your body and give you that estrogen boost. And that is what your hair and your body needs during menopause. So let's talk about some of these foods. First phytoestrogen food would be seeds. They can be flax seeds, they can be pumpkin seeds, they can be sunflower seeds, they can be sesame seeds. Incorporate more seeds into your diet. The second one is nuts. They can be walnuts, they can be pistachios, they can be peanuts. And then there are fruits. Dry fruits are excellent phytoestrogen foods, but remember, dry foods have a concentrated amount of sugar as well, so be mindful of that. Other fruits that are excellent include peaches and all different types of berries. And the next one is my favorite: dark green leafy vegetables. Yes, I have to have a dark green leafy vegetable salad every day, but they include things like kale and spinach. Incorporate that into your diet. Also, you want to include your cruciferous vegetables like your broccoli or your cabbage or your collard greens. Include some of that too into your diet. They're excellent for mimicking that estrogen in your body and giving you that estrogen boost. And the last one is your soy products, such as your soybeans and your edamame and your tofu and your tempeh. These are things you want to consider adding into your diet as well. Now, keep in mind, eating these phytoestrogen foods is not a quick fix. Nothing about it is a quick fix. It takes time and takes consistency for you to really notice the difference in your body and in your hair. Also, when you're going through menopause, you may want to check your vitamin D3 as well. You can check with your doctor to make sure that your vitamin D3 levels are not low, because vitamin D also helps with healthy hair support as well. And you may want to also consider collagen support or collagen supplementation as well. Definitely check with your doctor doctor if you're dealing with that, because as I said earlier, your collagen production starts to decline during that time, and that is contributing to your looser skin, your thinner skin, and it may be contributing to some of your scalp issues as well. And my last recommendation is to manage your stress. I know that seems contradictory, because when you're dealing with hair loss, or if you're having hair challenges, that increases your stress, right? But you have to get in the habit of managing the stress, because when you are stressed out, or if you have high levels of unmanaged stress, those high levels of unmanaged stress produce the hormone cortisol. A lot of cortisol, and too much cortisol in your body can create inflammation in the body, and certainly creates inflammation in the scalp. And that inflammation will also contribute to your hair loss during these menopausal years. So I encourage you to manage your stress. You can even consider drinking lemon balm tea. Lemon balm tea will curtail the stress levels in your body. You can also practice meditation and prayer. Studies show that meditation actually reduces your stress. So get in the habit of meditating. Things such as exercise will help to reduce stress. Proper sleep, proper rest will reduce stress. Yoga. There are many things that you can do to manage your stress, but I encourage you, find ways to manage your stress, to keep those stress levels at bay, so that you can have healthy hair and minimize your hair loss during your menopausal years. And if you are someone who's looking to regrow your hair, taking a full holistic approach to healthy hair, I encourage you to join my Let's Get Growing program. It's a 7-week program that really focuses on healthy hair by taking and making healthy lifestyle practices. You can register and get more information, or join the waitlist at www.curlhouseacademy.com. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, like the channel, and until we talk again, stay fabulous.